Chairman, yield back. Thanks for your courtesy.
Thanks, gentlemen. Mr. DeLauro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to focus, Mr. Secretary, my question on submarines and our national security, our military shipbuilding, and as I said specifically, submarines, critical investment for national security and for the economy of my home state of Connecticut.
Let's dive into this exchange between Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth that got pretty heated at the end.
This is a yes or no question, Mr. Secretary. Do you agree that continued investment in the Department of Defense in submarine production is in fact critical to the United States national security and military readiness?
Very critical.
Okay, so yes, thank you, and we agree. They'll continue to be a critical asset to deter adversaries, sustain the advantage we have in undersea domain, and the Defense Department should continue to support these programs. What is the status of the Department's investments in submarine programs?
14% increase in FY26 on the Columbia, and a substantial increase in the Virginia as well. So we're ensuring a submarine industrial base that has been left behind, that has been neglected, is fully invested.
We
to make
have
sure
funded the submarine base
on funding
here.
the submarines.
More than half, and you can go back to last December, but I want to move on. Do you know where our submarine production currently stands and whether current production is sufficient to bridge the gap between current fleet size and projected need?
There is a gap, but we believe we are closing it, ma'am. Yes.
And if you can get to us the information about how, in fact, that you can close that gap, because we do not have any information or data that can substantiate what you're saying. Your department's initial budget proposal includes incremental funding for the Columbia-class submarine. Is that going to raise alarm bells across the defense industrial base by signaling a lack of commitment to the program?
No, we could not, ma'am. We could not be more committed to Columbia. The centrality in the triad, ensuring it delivers on time, it's central to the deterrent and the base of the United States. So
do you know how much of a financial hole this will create for the defense industrial base? Will there be a financial hole for the defense industrial base in 2026?
Certainly not based on our projections. There is not a hole. We're investing in Columbia robustly.
Okay, without numbers, it's my understanding the department is planning to move $3.1 billion for the Columbia class from 2026 and spread it over 2027 and 2028. This creates a serious problem for industry in the short term and hampers shipbuilders' ability to reach an adequate production rate. Have you been in contact with Electric Boat or with Huntington Ingalls about your plans?
Almost every day, our Deputy Secretary of Defense, alongside our Secretary of the Navy, are actively engaged with all of our shipbuilders and shipyards to make sure their needs not only are being met, but their shortfalls are being addressed so that we can close that gap in real time, which has existed.
So that you can really lay out for us the information and what we would like to get, what this committee needs to take a look at, because I know you believe that submarines are important, as I do, but getting the specific information about where we stand, what the production rate is, what gaps there may be. We're willing to listen to all of that because, in fact, in contrast to what your earlier statement was, we have, in fact, supported mightily the submarine industrial base from this committee. That has not been neglected. Do you have a plan for making the investments necessary to ramp up submarine production to the necessary elections? I would just tell you, as part of the December continuing resolution, Congress included $5.7 billion for the department to put on contract for 2 additional Block 4 and 1 Block 5 Virginia-class submarines. The Navy advised members that these funds were required to be placed on contract by February of 2025, yet the department did not put funding for the 2 additional Block 4 boats on contract until April 30th. So do we have a plan, do you have a plan for making the necessary investments to ramp up submarine production to the necessary levels? And what is that plan?
Ma'am, first of all, I want to thank this committee for the flexibility alongside FY25 and the continued
Well,
resolution.
I would hope
which
you
is
would
less-
thank this committee for the
a lot of
funding
flexibility
that it
provided
had
on the
made.
submarine
We
industrial
have made a
base, and we have-
serious
that.
investment. So your first statement is inaccurate. We have focused squarely on submarines, and we now want to know where that is going and what your plan is for the continued advancements to meet production levels and make sure that that is an area that's covered for our national security.
Ma'am, I fully acknowledge the investment this committee has made in shipbuilding, and the challenge is our department under the previous administration squandered a lot of that by
Please,
not
I don't.
investing
I want your plan. I've had difficulties with the prior administration, and I don't mind calling them out. What is your plan for the future? Can we get that in writing and on paper so that we know where you're going? Because we don't have anything today. We have zip, nada, and knowing where you're going. You can talk percentages. You can talk about whatever you want, but unless this committee sees dollars and cents and where you're going and what your plan is, then we may reconsider what you need to do to go forward. Give us the details.
Congresswoman, we have the details, and we will provide
Well, then
them
let's
for you.
have them before we, and my hope is that we could get to it before we go to a markup within a few hours here today. I yield back my time, Mr. Chair.
What really stands out here is how often we confuse confidence with competence. Secretary Hegseth sounds confident. He talks about commitment. He talks about engagement. He talks about priorities. But when pressed for specifics, actual numbers, timelines, and written plans, the substance just isn't there in this exchange. And that should worry all of us. Because submarine production isn't just about deterrence theory or Pentagon press releases. It's about whether the United States is capable of sustaining complex, long-term industrial projects without constant delays, funding whiplash, and institutional finger-pointing. It's about whether Congress gets real information before markups, not after the fact. It's about whether communities that build these ships can rely on stable investment instead of budgetary shell games. It's about whether national security is being used as a shield against scrutiny instead of a reason for it. Rosa DeLauro didn't walk into this hearing looking for a fight. She walked in looking for a plan, and she made it painfully clear that rhetoric without documentation doesn't cut it anymore. If the department truly has the details, as Hegseth claims, then providing them should be easy. If those details are solid, they should strengthen the department's case, not weaken it. Transparency builds trust. Specifics build credibility. And accountability is not optional. This exchange is a reminder that real strength, military or otherwise, comes from institutions that can answer tough questions without deflecting, delaying, or blaming someone else. Congress did its part by funding these programs and demanding answers. Now the burden is on the Department of Defense to show its work. Because in a moment when the world is watching, allies are calculating, and adversaries are probing for weakness, the last thing we can afford is a gap between what's promised and what's planned. If you care about national security, if you care about American workers, and if you care about democratic oversight, then this is exactly the kind of confrontation you should want to see: calm, detailed, and relentlessly focused on the facts. If you found this breakdown useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was DeLauro right to push this hard, or should the Pentagon get more leeway? And make sure you subscribe for more deep dives into congressional hearings that actually matter.